quick here, before you watch this video, if you haven't seen episode 1 where Luke Gazdic takes us on a tour of his hometown, Toronto, Ontario, go click this button right here and you can watch it. This episode here, number 2, we drink some brews with Gaz on his patio, Jack Astors, right in downtown. We have an amazing time. We shoot the shit. Great time talking with this absolute stud. Beauty of a guy. Hope you enjoy.
Cheers.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, man so tough, but mans keep walking. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls let it tell me I'm awesome. Yeah.
A lot of old school people in the game think it's going to come back that way, where it's kind of going to do a 180 and come back to more toughness, more veteran, but I just can't see it happening. They just want to protect their prospects. They want everyone young, and yeah, like I told you earlier, like these kids come out and they're just ready to go, man.
Yeah.
They're just like dialed in.
Well, it's because the training starts so much earlier too. So guys like McDavid, guys, they've been playing fucking 12 months out of the year.
Legit, they don't take time off.
For 7-8 years, like they haven't stopped, and they don't play like baseball when they're 15 the way you did.
There's no multi-sport kids anymore, really. It's like all hockey all the time, which is crazy to me.
That's why a lot of guys are getting injured though, because they're spending only doing hockey, right?
Yeah,
and they're
right.
like, your hips are getting hooked, your knees.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. I think there's got to be eventually, and strength and conditioning coaches know what they're doing, because they start deloading guys. Like once they get older, they start saying like, I'm sure they probably were telling you like, you don't need to be in the gym every day.
No,
there's
there's such a bigger focus on recovery, I think. And the old coaches like hate hearing that, because strength coaches want days off and coaches want days on. Like coaches want to go hard and strength coaches want to pull back a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a constant struggle. But you're right. Like I see these kids in the gym, man. My trainer's got guys that are like 7-8 years old, and they're doing skill drills on the ice. They do this, whatever PEP, and you got stuff on the ice, you got tires on the ice, just whatever it is. But these kids are doing drills that like I can't do right now. Like I mean, they're just buzzing around. It's crazy.
They're dominating hockey.
They're everywhere.
It's insane, and they got the young guys. It's crazy.
I've done it a couple times. There's a good skate in the West End that does it. Halsey's there with Sam Gagne brought me out, and you want to get made looking silly there, try doing that a practice there with Sam Gagne and Taylor Hall and John Tavares, man. I was just about ready to slap shot those things in the stands, man. But these kids are starting off with it. I just don't remember doing stuff like that at such a young age. Yeah. I didn't start doing it till I was playing pro hockey.
Right.
Like I said, man, these kids they're so good. Yeah. It's crazy.
How was BioSteel camp?
BioSteel camp was cool. I actually trained there for the whole summer for like 3 or 4 years. So I'd spend my summer there, and then the camp was just our last week of the training. But it was good, man. A lot of good talent, and practices were really good, and then we had a really fun 4-on-4 game that we had a draft for and everything to finish it off. And I always joke, I think the funniest thing though is we always had a party on the last day. And
no way.
That was probably the most fun part of BioSteel. Was the post camp party.
You had Nurse was there, so you got your boys with Nurse, good buddies with them.
Good buddies with Darnell from Edmonton, and we trained together. So when I was training at BioSteel, everyone, Tom Wilson, Mike Delzato, Devo Smith-Pally.
DJ, Mike Delzato, DJ now, hey?
Yeah, he's actually legit. He's a good friend of mine. He's legit, man. Actually, I was sitting by his pool a couple weeks ago. He's got a nice house in Etobicoke, and he had his DJ stuff going. He's the real deal too. Man. Real nice guy. That's fun about getting to train with these guys in the summer. You're so used to playing against them. I've played against DZ since I was 17 years old and junior, and now you get to train with them, you get to know them off the ice, and you get to know them a little better. Yeah. It's pretty cool getting to meet all these guys around the league. I'm still starstruck, man. I get starstruck by guys that are younger than me, guys that are my own age. I see a guy walking in the dressing room to come skate with us. I'm like, shit, that's like so-and-so, But I'm like...
Was it like that when Connor walked in and you saw him for the first time? Or was it different because he was so much younger?
Yeah, he was so young, but yeah.
It was probably crazy to see him
dude.
at 18 come in, and he's like What, he was probably 160 pounds soaking wet at that point.
I know, strong as an ox, though, man.
Really?
Will outlift anybody in the gym.
No way.
Yeah, he's crazy. He's been training. He's been training with Gary since he was with Gary Roberts since he was like 14, 15. The guy can trap our deadlift like 600 pounds.
Holy
like he'll
shit.
outlift literally everybody in the gym.
Wow.
His form is everything's like impeccable. He's a very strong kid. He just doesn't look like it. He doesn't.
Crazy.
Yeah, he doesn't come off as being that strong presence. But man, he lifts double what I lift.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So who was your best buddy going through this whole process of being in the NHL, AHL? Like, you have one guy, like, is Halsey your guy?
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe someone's going to get mad if I don't mention him, but yeah, I developed a really good bond with Taylor.
Yeah.
Not just living together, we were both young, we were both single, hung out a lot, and he's just a really good dude, man. He gets, I don't want to say he gets a bad rap, but maybe it comes off in the media as a little brash sometimes, you know, but he's really down to earth, real nice guy, and always took care of me, always good dude, yeah.
Well, you mentioned it in the last time we chatted about how he got that bad rap, and, I think Edmonton was hard on him too, because there's a lot of expectations for that team, and he took a lot of the brunt, ended up getting traded away to New Jersey. Like, their team ends up getting a draft pick, man, and now he's going to Arizona, so he's getting tossed around. Do you think he's going to end up staying in Arizona?
I don't know.
Because he's only got he's done, right?
Yeah, he's done. I have an idea of what I think is going to happen, but...
You're going to go Darren Dreger insider again?
Yeah, no, I can't. I'll leave that till July 1 or whenever it is, and I'll let Halsey tell you his decision, but...
we'll get him on the Athletes podcast.
Yeah, that'll be one of your next guests.
Yeah.
No, I'm not sure what he's going to do. I know he just wants to win, man.
Yeah.
It's got to be a good situation for him, and I don't think he's going to go money chasing or anything like that. He just wants to win and just wants to be in a good situation, good coach, good teammates. All that. I think that's the most you can ask for. At this point in his career, he's approaching 30.
Yeah.
Hasn't played a ton of playoff hockey. I'm sure he just wants to get after it a little bit.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like that's how Connor feels, and he's only 23, 24.
Yeah, those guys are having a tough go at Edmonton right now. I feel for them. It's not an easy place to play when you're losing too. It's hard to be out and about in the city when you're not winning, and especially with the bubble city being there too. I'm sure they have really high expectations.
Man, that would be so cool.
They're going in the right direction, man. They have the right pieces. They just got, you can say that about anyone. They just got to add a couple things, but they truly just need a couple tweaks. They have a good coach there. And
need a tendy.
Yeah, maybe they get a goaltender, and just see what happens. But at the end of the day, man, if you have Connor, you're always in a position to win. You're always going to be in a position to win. You have the best hockey player in the world. He's the best by a long shot. I know. I thought I mentioned that before, but he literally is.
It's crazy.
I think he's up here, and there's a couple guys like I used to think it was Sid. I still Sid's incredible, but Sid McKinnon's a guy that's emerged from me over the last couple of years as being absolutely electric to watch. And I tried to hit him one game, and he absolutely flattened me.
No way.
Strong as hell on the ice. But I put Connor here, and then everyone else just a couple notches down.
It's like he's the 99 on NHL, and the rest of the guys are 96, 95. Right? Legitimately, that's the only way, because there's no one that can touch him speed-wise.
Yeah.
His hands are just disgusting, and he's strong too.
Everything he does at full speed, at high speed, and he's got the finish. He's got the ability, but yeah, the speed is something you've never seen. And he tries this shit in games. So when I was playing there, he does this shit on a daily basis in practice. And he does stuff that he would never try in a game. But
in practice, he's trying this shit.
And he would I feel like he felt bad for our D sometimes too, because he would just be whizzing by these guys. And, He truly, if we were doing a neutral zone Rudy group or something like that, where I had to back into his speed, I was just man, I feel so bad for these D-men that got to play against this kid. I just go active stick and just try not to
wave at him as he goes by.
Try not to look stupid. But no, man, just seeing it every day and getting to live with him too, just picking his brain on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
He watches hockey all the time. But
really?
yeah, picking his brain here and there, asking him about certain things is definitely pretty cool to hear his point of view, you know?
Well, and he's one of those guys, like, you never see him in the media doing anything bad. He's just dialed in 24/7.
Just
like,
everything right.
That's the way you have to be at that level, right? Like,
yeah, he doesn't make too many mistakes on or off the ice. He's a pretty reserved guy.
That's not easy to do.
I know. It's, you know who does a good job? Sid does it. I think he's learned a lot from Sid watching him come up, watching his interviews and all that stuff, and both just quality class acts, and like I said, not a lot of bad coming from those.
And there's so much pressure that, like, Connor's had this since he's like 15 years old. Everyone's been saying he's the next great thing, right? So for the last 10 years of his life, he's been this highly decorated player that now has so much pressure, is in the spotlight 24/7. He's probably sick of it.
I would imagine so. Like
here I'm looking for it, and he's getting all of it.
I know. I think he's just become accustomed to it.
Yeah.
You know, I think those guys just, and playing in a Canadian city even more so too, is just adding to it. And then everywhere you go, it's just an absolute circus. And I think it just becomes part of your lifestyle.
Why does the States not love hockey as much? Because you've played in both, so why is it that the U.S. is so?
I think it just gets saturated from other sports. Like, there's towns that are baseball first, there's towns that are football first, and
what was bigger in San Diego? Is it baseball?
They love the Padres.
Oh,
yeah, they love their Padres, but like I said, San Diego first in attendance in the league. Sorry, we were getting like 10,000 a night, man.
That's
so
legit
crazy.
for an 8, like.
But I mean, you go to different places. Like, I played in Texas, and I remember when we were playing in Austin, we wouldn't get fans until about January, because Friday night there was high school football.
Okay.
They drew more fans than we did. Like they drew double the fans that we did. When we sold out, they had like 10, 15,000 fans a night for a high school football game.
It's Texas.
Saturday, the UT played, the Longhorns played.
Yeah.
So no one's watching hockey when the Horns are playing.
Yeah.
And then you have, they like the Cowboys and whatever Houston's team is called. I can't think of Houston's team right now, but it just, football comes first, other sports came first. But once you start getting these people out to a hockey rink and you get them live to a game, it changes their whole perspective on it. I think it's just hard for them to listen or to watch it on TV.
Tune in on TV.
It happens really fast on TV if you don't know the rules and stuff. But when you're at a game and watching it live, man, and you get to see physicality and the speed and the strength,
it's one of the most electrifying sports, and a lot of people struggle seeing the puck. No joke. My mom legitimately, for the first 10 years of her life, so she needed glasses. She didn't know this until then, but she was like, why do people watch this sport? It's ridiculous. There's 5 guys on each team skating back and forth. She's like, what's the point of this? And she's like, then she got glasses. She's like, oh, there's a puck.
Oh, they're just chasing around. A bunch of grown men chasing around a little black rubber puck on the ice.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre concept for a sport, but that's why we love it, hey?
Dude, it's the best.
Yeah, it's great.
It's the best. You can't beat it. Plus, you get to have beers after games.
It's the best part, isn't it?
It is. That's why we're here.
Right now, I'm like, I don't want to say I'm Raptors bandwagon at all, because I've been watching them since I was a kid. But
yeah.
Over the last couple years, watching Raps basketball is so much fun. Do you think I can get another one?
I'll do, yeah. In 3? Yeah.
Watching Raps basketball and like all the shit's on right now. The Jays are back, hockey's back, so there's always something to watch. The bubble hockey's been a lot better than I expected it.
So that's what I was curious at. I thought about asking that. Like, what do you think of being in the bubble with the artificial sound coming in? Like, it would be weird as a player.
I know it would definitely be super weird as a player. I use the crowd and the building to hype me up, to get me.
Your role for sure.
That's how I get my adrenaline.
Yeah.
It's almost like I have to force adrenaline, but the building just amplifies you, and I don't know how they're doing it right now, but they are.
Yeah. When they came out hot, like, I remember the round robin games, like, people were like, holy shit, these guys are playing, because it's playoff hockey. And I think a lot of people as fans didn't really know what to expect from bubble hockey, and the boys came out flying.
They are buzzing right now.
Right?
And you said it perfectly. Like, every game and every series has just got better and faster, and the hockey's so good. I watch these teams like, I guess Colorado is putting on a show right now, and it's just they've done a really good job, and I think like everything from down to, like you said, like crowd noise and everything. I thought it was going to be awkward and not genuine, but it's been super entertaining, to be honest.
Who's your pick to win it? Let's get Luke Gazdic's hot take. On the Athletes Podcast.
I like Vegas.
Yeah. Fucking taking down my knuckleheads, eh?
They're taking down your knuckies. They're just the most well-rounded team I've seen. They're
so
fast, they're creative, they're well coached. They have an unreal goalie, and they have probably the best depth out of any team. And every time I see them play, they play the game the right way, man.
Yeah.
They literally they're physical and they just do the right things every game. It's pretty freaking cool.
It is cool. Well, and I think they got robbed last year, so there's a bit of piss in their vinegar too with the fact that they're fired up from that, right?
The Canucks have looked good too, though, man. Like
so young.
They're gonna be good.
I'm so fired up for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I got my PD jersey in the back of the car right now. I'm gonna be wearing that Tuesday night. Tomorrow night in where will it be? Montreal. Man, I'm fired up for that one too because get to watch that game. I'll probably.
What is it? 3-1 right now.
Yeah.
They're in.
I'm a glass half full kind of guy though. Okay. So
they've surprised the hell out of me, to be honest. Pedersen's unreal.
Disgusting.
And they've made some great acquisitions, but I played against that team in the minors. A couple of those guys there with Travis Green was their head coach in Utica.
Yeah.
He's always had those guys playing hard, and I know.
Gaudet, Virtanen.
I played against all those guys in the minors, and I know he takes a huge focus on conditioning. I know their training camp is like.
Legit.
Yeah, it's not easy, not an easy one to get through.
It's good to know.
I know he works them pretty hard.
Okay.
So, and you can see it on the ice, man. They never stop.
Yeah.
They're little dogs out there.
It is. That's what's making them exciting to watch. So I grew up watching them. It was like 05, 06. It's like Naslund, Bertuzzi, Morrison,
Matthias Olin, all those
Sopel,
guys. Yeah, Brent Sopel,
right? Dan Kluche.
Yeah,
so those boys and.
Dan Kluche with that mask, right? That old school helmet.
Don't even get me started on. Dude, that guy would go down in the splits every single shot. I swear to God, it didn't matter where it was coming from.
Those old jerseys too, the blue and
ugly.
You don't like those?
No, ugly. You loved them?
Every time I see it, I think Todd Bertuzzi. I love Todd Bertuzzi growing up. He was the West Coast Express, man. He was my.
But that team, like Brendan Morrison, Naslund, and Bertuzzi, that line was so dirty because they had everything. Naslund would score. Bertuzzi would put anyone. He was the definition of a power forward.
He was the OG for me, power forward. Like
right?
He was the guy I had pictures on my wall of being like, this guy will beat the wheels off you, and then he'll score 20 goals in a year as well. And we'll play on your first line or your fourth line.
He's the modern day Tom Wilson.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
But
that's actually a pretty good comparison. I was going to say Lucic, but I
think they're similar, just left-handed versus right.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah.
And so I grew up watching that team, and they never made it. 2011, the Sedin twins. They're playing against Boston. They got Luongo in net. They got the pieces there. And they fucking lose in Game 7. They get shut out. Team riots.
They got shut out.
City blows up. City's in flames. We get bad rep for that for the rest of our life.
I would have bet my career earnings up till that point, which was only 1 year, that they would have coming back home for Game 7.
I
was pulling for them too, dude. I was like, this will be awesome. Cup's coming back to Canada.
Right.
You got to think they're going home. There's no way they lose. And
every game.
I probably would have rioted too if I was a fan.
Right.
Yeah.
Every game had been won by the home team until Game 7, and then Lou lets in 4.
Bobby Lou.
That
was a good squad too.
They're unbelievable. This is President's Trophy winning team.
Yeah.
Right, and then dropped off. So I was like, okay, well, I had some dog years where I was just, and I moved out East Coast, so I was like, fuck, I had a good excuse to not watch games.
Have you developed a liking for any East Coast team over here? Any Canadian East Coast team?
So my ex had those platinum seats at Leaf games, so I was fortunate enough to watch a couple there. But that atmosphere isn't the same.
Humble brag, platinum seats.
Keyword my ex.
Sure, sorry.
Keyword.
Let's talk about it.
I don't know. We don't need to get into that one. So I got in there, watched that. But the Leafs they got 3 guys making all their money. So that's a tough formula to work with. first of all, just right off the hop, honestly, I love watching Carolina Hurricanes hockey. Rob Brindamore is an incredible coach.
They, like I said about Vegas, they play the right way.
Yeah.
And on a consistent plane all the time is what I respect about them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a prototypical superstar.
Yeah.
But even I didn't get to play against the Rob Brindamore, but just watch. I would be a nightmare to play them in a 7-game series.
Yeah.
Like I was hoping they made it past Boston, but they're going to be a force for a couple of years here, especially with Rod the Bod.
Right.
Like he's got them dialed in every night, man. And I think you can see how much more it means to them that they're battling for him every game. They want to win for him. It seems like they love him there. So I think
he trains with them. He grinds. Like he's in the gym. So I played in a Buffalo Sabres corporate challenge tournament, it was called, last year. And basically teams pay or donate X amount of money, then they get linked up with an alumni of the Sabres, play with them. So I got linked up with Niagara Falls because they just asked me, they needed attendees, so I went and played with them. Stood on my head. That was a humble brag. But
you play goalie?
Yeah, I'm attendee. I know. Get out on shot. I know. We're gonna get out there.
We should have talked about that long. Like that should have been one of the first things. I didn't know that.
I'm attendee, man. Why do you think I'm so crazy?
They're all a little different, hey?
I don't know. You didn't think I was that crazy until you knew.
Yeah. Now I'm like, a couple things
now
are making sense. Yeah, this makes sense.
So I got paired up with. I can't remember his name. He's the new GM for the Sabres. Kevin Adams.
Oh, Kevin Adams. I was just about to say, I was like, I should know this.
Kevin Adams. So he is crazy. Unbelievable guy.
From Buffalo?
I think he's from Buffalo. Stand-up human being. Just incredible guy. He was just like, our team, so we shared the dressing room with them, whatever. And he didn't really say too much early, but we ended up playing in the final of our group. Lost it, so we'll start off with that context. But he stayed in there. He's like, man, when we were playing, because he was on that Carolina Hurricanes team, on the Hurricane Sabres. Beers are getting to me. He was playing in the finals against Edmonton.
He was on
Carolina
yeah.
with Rod Brindamore.
2006.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
7-game series.
Yeah, Carolina Edmonton. So they're in Carolina. They lose Game 6 badly. They got outplayed. They played like shit. And they're like, no one goes home expecting to win the cup. They want to win the cup at home, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And Rob Brindamore came in after the game and basically gave a freaking dynamite speech to the whole team. He said, boys,
this is game
6. This is after game 6. They get pumped. So they say, no one grows up, playing hockey in their backyard and expecting to win game 6. Like it's not climactic. That's not exciting. No one wants to do that, right? So they had brought all their. So it was in Edmonton game 6. So they were like, they brought all their families out, all that crap, to win, to try and, if they win in game 6, they're going to win the cup. So all the families are out there, blah, blah, blah. They come out, they're super disappointed because they lost. All the guys come out of the dressing room fired up because they got this they got this one-on-one combo with Rod, basically saying, you know what, boys, we're going to go back and win this at home. That's what they did, right? So that's what you dream about, Game 7, Stanley Cup Finals, winning it at home.
I got a little chills there, too. That's pretty cool. Well, because you're right. Like, I had the rink in my backyard growing up that my dad made, and it's always Game 7, double overtime, you're scoring the winning goal, right? Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
And to be able to win it on your home rink, too, would be pretty electric. I was pulling for the oil hard there.
I watched that game in my neighbor's fucking...
I talked to Alice. Alice Hemsky was my teammate in Edmonton when I was a rookie, and he said that they won game. I don't know what game it was. It might have been 6, and he lived on White Ave.
They did win game 6
in Edmonton, and he said people knew where he lived. They knew his building, and he couldn't get out of his car. He said they flooded the whole the streets every game every night. It was minus 40. And they
oil country.
Yeah, oil country, baby. It wasn't minus 40 at the time. It's just cold all the time there.
Yeah.
But he said it was just the craziest experience. And I'm hoping it goes back to Edmonton at some point. I think that city deserves something at some point.
Man, with Leon and Connor, like, you've got to think.
You're in a position every night. You're in a position to win, man. Every year.
So you're going to plot 5 goals between the two of them.
I think people are realizing now. Leon was a rookie when that was my 3rd year. Second year he was a rookie. And I mean, we could see it, but I don't think people realize how good he is. I think they do now. He's going to win. He should win the Hart Trophy this year. Yeah, he should win the Hart Trophy this year. I only said that because I don't know who else.
Was it? Yeah,
I don't know.
Did it already get announced?
I don't know who the other 2 people are. Yeah,
definitely.
It's like him and Kucherov and somebody else. I don't know.
Fuck, I should know this.
But I think people are realizing now how good he is.
Yeah.
Kid's an incredible talent, and what I really like about Leon even more is he's an unreal kid.
Really?
So, like, he's a good teammate, good kid. Works his tail off, and
from Cologne, Germany.
From German boy, man.
Biz thought he trying to make his own cologne with him.
Oh my god, that was funny, hey?
How much of a meathead is Paul Pisanat?
Man, I've known Biz for a while. I think he kind of plays that personality off a little bit.
For sure. He's
a smart guy. Like we were talking about creating content, and it's pretty cool what he's done. Like on a yearly and daily basis. He's got so many things on the go right now. I got a wasp in this beer here.
Trying to get into one.
The wasp wants to join the party.
He's on the camera.
Biz has been doing this like started off social, now he's got the pod, and he's doing radio for the Oats. He's got a lot of things going.
NHL's working with him.
Dude, he's Budweiser. Like, yeah, man, he's got. Like I can only imagine that guy's day from when he gets up to when he goes to bed. It's probably just like boom, boom, boom. I'm hoping I can get to a point, in my life where.
This is the start right here. We're gonna start. Yeah. You're getting comfortable with the content, and now we're firing it. Yeah, we're gonna get up, play a round of golf up there. We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2. We'll go to the house for part 2. Yeah. But it's something I wanted to get into. The content side of it, maybe even broadcasting. You never know. It's just this whole COVID thing, right? It's throwing a wrench in everything. Everyone kind of just got put into a standstill with playing, and I'm not saying I'm retiring.
No, yeah.
The dreaded R word. I'm not there yet, but just gotta look at exploring everything right now, man. Have an open mind for it.
Well, I think one of the things that you've got going for you is the fact that you're articulate as hell. Considering, so this is not just me, stroking you off because we're side by side looking at Jack Astors in Toronto, but legitimately, from the athletes that I've spoken to, we're almost 50 episodes in on the Athletes podcast, and legitimately, you're one of the most well-spoken guys that we've talked to, folks in general, people in general that we've talked to, and articulate. You know the sport, you played it, you come from a position. It reminds me a guy like Kevin Bieksa now, who's come in and Sportsnet. People love him.
I know.
People are raving about him.
He's great on the screen. I was just hoping he'd stroke me off for a little more. But that was nice too. I was like, keep going. This is nice. Yeah. I'm getting a nice confidence.
He's like, I'm starting to blush.
Nice confidence boost here. No, but that's always. I think that's a perception and a persona. Generally, not just with tough guys, with tough guys and hockey players is, we're just big dummies. Can't talk, can't speak. Macho man, caveman, And then you open your mouth and you start talking, and you're like, shit, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've always taken pride in it. And like you said, if it's broadcasting that I fall into, I'd try that. And there's definitely players that just have a knack for it, and I'd definitely like to give it a go at some point.
You gonna keep the beard?
I probably wouldn't take the gig if they told me. Yeah.
It stays.
I just had this trimmed down a little bit.
Yeah, you had a good quarantine one going.
Yeah, it was getting a little out of control.
Was it?
Yeah, I have a barber here in Toronto, just down the street.
You want to give him a shout out right now?
Yeah, Patrice, the Forum Barber Parlor. Cuts a bunch of hockey players.
Oh, he's nodding his head. He knows.
Predominantly, PK Subban was his first hockey guy, so I've been going there for years. And
not a big deal.
Hey, not a big deal. He cuts a bunch of players, and I just don't get my hair cut or trimmed anywhere else.
Fair enough. So, I might have to go there.
When he's not cutting, I'm not getting cut.
Fair enough. Man, I'm just embracing the long hair currently right now.
Great, dude.
I love it.
You probably had to battle through a bit of that in between where it's not wavy yet.
Quarantine
Yeah,
was
exactly.
a blessing in disguise for me, dude. You have no idea. I was like, for 3 months there, I was chilling. I'm like, I'm saving money.
On the pod, did we do?
Yeah.
Did we do we did video,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Dude,
I wasn't sure it was just audio.
No, I was also 20 pounds heavier and
Yeah,
had
dude, you're
shorter
looking
hair.
trim right now.
I had to trim down the AP tour, man. I had to.
You got to look good for it,
I
hey?
gotta look good for it. We'll see pictures a week later. We're gonna be after boozing on the patio. It could be a little different, but
I know. I should tell the camera that Dave wanted to take me for a workout, and I wanted to go have beers.
I'm okay with the option.
So I think I won. I won the location.
Cheers to you winning.
Yeah,
You know what?
But I'll take this any day of the week.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. Just not to play there. Hey?
Just not playing there, but I always love going there. You can get a little trouble there.
Vertanen's exposed
The
that.
shitty part about places like that is we never stayed over.
Oh,
So
because you're too far?
Yeah, we'd come the night before, and you go for a nice dinner in the city, whatever you're doing. Nicest road hotel in the league by far.
Where was that? Where'd you stay?
The Pacific Rim, the Fairmont Pacific Rim. There's one of these hotels where you literally open the door and like the blinds open, the lights slowly come on. I'm like, wow, this is the NHL. This is sick. I'm like, this is National League hotel, but you drop your stuff, shower up, take your suit off, get a pair of jeans on, and get your crew. We had like a dinner crew that we always, we'd always go out for dinner with. Me and Halsey and Nuge, Schultze, Sammy Gagne. And you don't really get into it. Maybe you have a couple glasses, maybe a couple bottles of wine at dinner. Nothing too crazy though. But we never got to stay over like the night after and do that thing. We just come right back to Edmonton.
You never got to stay at the Roxy. Did you have a night out at the Roxy?
I might have snuck in there.
Yeah.
Maybe one or two times. Yeah.
Everyone knows
I know
what
the Roxy is.
Everyone knows about the Roxy.
I know what the Roxy is, but I can't comment on it anymore.
Fair enough. He's got a broadcast career to work
Maybe
about now.
Maybe if I was a healthy scratch the next game, I'd
You just dabble.
couple extra, but
dabble,
nothing crazy. But yeah, those cities that and Winnipeg, we never got to stay in, but I didn't want. You don't want to stay in Winnipeg?
No one wants
to stay overnight in Winnipeg.
That is a tough place to be.
I think the same thing for, like Calgary. Any city that was close, we were always coming right back.
Yeah.
Which was kind of shitty, but then, you go to LA and we could stay in LA, or we go to New York and we'd stay in New York for 4 days or something like that. And
tough life, eh?
man, I was living the dream. I was 23 and single, and
that's the key.
The key is the word single is key. 23 and single, and playing in the NHL, man, living the life, and I literally had to pinch myself at times, just skating at Madison Square Garden, and these buildings, skating at the Bell Center, and getting to play at home in Toronto, and I'm skating around the rink during warm-ups, and going to play Pittsburgh, and I'm looking across the ice at Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang and Marc-Andre Fleury, and they've won 2 cups already, and I'm just sitting there, I'm like, shit, this is wicked. And I had to tell myself not to be starstruck. Got caught out there for an icing with Sid with that big line one time, and I almost pissed myself, dude. Yes, please.
So one of the best posts on your Instagram is you pointing at a screen that had the lineup for
with Ovechkin.
With Ovechkin,
So it's funny because I was actually telling my dad that I was like, these 3 lines here are 3 lines I'm not allowed to play again. Shitty on the road because they get last change, but if Ovi jumps over the boards, if I'm skating around and I see Ovi whip by me, I know that I probably shouldn't be out there. I got to change.
That's an automatic. Coach is screaming.
Sid was the same way. Like, coaches never had to tell me that, but shit, if I'm in the D zone and I see Ovi on his off wing, I might just change right there.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if they're in the offensive zone, you gotta get off the ice. Bad change.
Quick beeline to the bench and try not to get a quick minus there. But yeah, man, like I played against these guys on a daily basis. Ovi was another one too. I remember him ripping around in warm-up. He goes 100 miles an hour in warm-up.
Yeah, you would have played against him when you were in New Jersey.
A lot,
right?
yeah. Washington was a team I played against a lot, especially when I went over to Jersey.
Yeah.
But Ovi was a guy too where a lot of these guys look bigger on TV. Ovi was massive.
Really?
Massive, dude. Like my size, thicker than me, and I've never seen a guy shoot the puck. Like I've never seen a puck come off the tape like Alex Ovechkin. Man, it's off his stick and it's in the net before you don't even know what's happened. And it's funny, like we watch those power plays where they're like, he's just standing on the side. You're like, why don't you just put a guy there? You're like, because if you put a guy there, he's just going to pass to the next guy. Like, they had John Carlson, they got Backstrom and all these guys, but he shoots the puck and he plays like no one else. And he ran me over right in front of the bench. I think I threw a little chirp at him, and he looked at me. He said, "You want me to sign this stick for you, kid?" And I was like, "Kinda, yeah. I'll take it. Yeah."
Do you mind? Like,
I was like, "Dude,
I was gonna ask after the game.
Yeah, give it
I guess currently it's
give
fine.
it to the trainer. But if you want to just do it right now, I'm cool with that."
It'll just save me asking the trainer later, right?
No, but it was always playing against guys like that where it put it into perspective. You know, we were like, "Shit, I made it, man. I made it." And to get to do that for the better part of 4 years, I mean, I have played pro hockey for 11 years, but to get to do that for 4 years in the best league in the world, it's pretty freaking cool, man.
It's legit. I love it.
And this is the best part, is telling stories, and people like to live vicariously that, didn't get to play pro or played hockey and didn't make it that far, and you get to sit back and guys can ask you questions and, what's this guy like, and what was it like playing here? What was your favorite spot to play? And I will literally sit and talk about it for hours. And I have no qualms. I got no reservations on telling any story. Well, PG,
for the most part.
PG for the most part. We'll keep PG until the camera comes off. Then I'll tell you the good ones.
We've already heard some of them.
Filled them in on a couple, but you can sit down and just shoot the shit and tell stories, and it's the best part.
The hockey community is so amazing in that sense, and the fact that guys are they're just enjoying it, right? Because there's so many guys that take it too seriously.
You can see it on my face right now how much I love it. Like, my body's just not there anymore. I'm getting older, hockey-wise, getting older. But the hockey community is a cool thing. I had a little bit of a disdain for coaches and management here and there. But the boys, I know everyone says the boys, but literally the boys are the reason that kept me coming to the rink every day. And the friends you meet and shit like that, guys that call me years after playing and just say, hey, what's going on? How you doing, man? Like, that's what it's all about. I went out for some food and some beers with an old teammate, with Taylor Hall, yesterday, and it's just nice getting to sit down and just revisit the old times and revisit some stories. It's what it's all about, man.
Well, when you said you weren't going to be available today, and I saw that story go up, I'm like, fuck, man, this guy's priorities. He's got beers. I'm like, maybe I'll just say, hey, let's go to Jack Astors and get beers. And
I know
that was a selling point.
I would have been like, yeah, what time? Just give me a time.
They open at 11, but the girl said she'd let me in at 10:45 if you really want to go earlier.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking to get on the ice or to get back in the gym, but like I said, I don't want to make myself look like an alky.
Buddy,
but
you're making me look small right now, and you haven't been in the gym all quarantine. Look at me. Like, you've been going, twice a week here? I've been grinding every day.
A couple times here
This
and there.
guy's still making me look small. It's bullshit.
Still got a good diet, and you can mix a couple of these in every now and then. The Jays are on TV right now, and
it's carbs.
It's a nice day out.
It's carbs.
This is good quality. I talked about my diet with Gary Roberts, and me and Gary would always battle because I told him on the weekend I like my beers when I wasn't training. He said, okay, just have a couple. And I said, yeah, these are my complex carbs right here. This is what it's all about.
As long as you have 2, not 12. That's the goal, right? I remember Spit and Chicklets, they were talking there. I think they had, is it Pronger? They had a vet on, and they were talking about the fact that, one of their trainers would say, just have, a couple. Keep it down, keep your numbers low, and just don't have 24 in a night, and you know what?
That was literally Gary's thing to me. Not just to me. I don't want to make it sound like I'm a freaking alcoholic here. But on Fridays, he'd be like, buds, just go out, have 1 or 2 Mill Street Organics, Make sure they're from the bottle. Don't drink them out of the can. He's crazy. No beer out of a can, no draft beer.
Oh.
Make sure it's out of the bottle, and make sure you don't drink 10, buds. You don't. Nobody needs 10 beers, he'd say. Like, shit, every now and then you do, but...
Yeah.
Okay, Robs, okay.
So the bottle's healthier. You heard it here first on the Athletes Podcast.
This was Gary. Like, Gary was so specific to the point where if you were drinking a beer, it had to be out of a bottle. Like this guy was
interesting.
This guy was so dialed and he was just so regimented. It was cool like being around him on a daily basis. And I would ask him questions every day and say, "Buds, stop asking." I'd ask him like 10. I'd be working out. He'd be like, "Go work out. Like, stop. Leave me alone."
I wonder why with the bottle. So Mac Lemon, who was on the pod earlier, he's like episode, I don't know, 20 something. I can't remember. But he trains, or he was one of Gary Roberts' trainers.
Yeah.
So he's partnered with Body Logics now. But he's talking about, you know, we had a night in St. Catharines where we had some fun a couple of weeks ago. But he works, and I'm always interested to figure out, you know, what the balance is for athletes, because it used to be that, you know, guys 20 years ago would go out and get obliterated, and they didn't give. There was no training. It was like, go crazy. Have beers the night before. You'd come back. You'd be hungover.
I saw a memo for training camp from like 1980, the Leafs in like 85, let's say, something like that. And it was like, you must be able to do 25 push-ups, 10 pull-ups, and you have to run a mile in like 10 minutes. Now it's like
5 times.
Yeah, now you got to run 5 miles, and if you don't do it in like 18 minutes, like you're not allowed to come on the ice, and you have to do, you know, 150 push-ups, every single fitness test in the world, and then after all that's done, you got to go on the ice and perform.
Yeah, now we're gonna go play 5-on-5.
Now we're gonna go scrimmage and play a million exhibition games, which I think is the biggest joke. We play like 12 exhibition games. It's changed, and it's almost looked down upon now. This is kind of old school. Like even just going out for beers, a lot of young players in the league. It's predominantly, you know, playing a lot of video games and staying home. There's I'm not just saying alcohol as well. It's more of this
social.
I feel like hockey's lost that social aspect. You know, where social aspect for me, it's going out for dinner on the road. If you don't have to drink if you don't want to, I don't care. Like we're gonna have a bottle of wine, but at least, you know, going out for dinner with your teammates. Or my favorite was post-practice lunch. I used to love leaving the rink. I said, "Boys, where are we going for lunch? Like, let's go sit on a patio." And like I said, you know, we're not drinking. We just let's go out to eat. Let's go hang out. And guys were just in and out of the rink all not everybody, but a lot of guys are just, they come, they do their work, and they leave. And that's not a bad thing. Yeah. But it's just lost a lot of its social aspect. The only social that players get is, you know, playing Fortnite or playing, you know, Warzone.
Looking Patrick Laine.
I mean, I like playing video games just like the rest of the boys, but I don't go home and play it for 6 hours every single day and stay up all night playing it. These kids walk in, they got bloodshot eyes. They look like they slept for an hour. I said, "What are you doing?" "Oh, shit, man, I was playing Warzone until
new update on Warzone.
I was playing Warzone 4 in the morning. I got 2 dubs. I'm like, bro, we got practice in like an hour, and you can't open your eyes. Like, that might be worse than being hungover and going out all day. Honestly, like
100% it would be.
So I don't know. Yeah, it's changed in that sense, and that's why I love that veteran presence. I love being a vet on the team, and I'm not saying I don't like the young guy. I love the young guys, but hanging out with your vets and the guys that have been doing it and battled for years and years. Like I just finished 11 years. Like.
Not finished yet. Don't worry.
Still not. I'm not using that.
Doobie's on.
I'm not using that. Not using that R word yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah, if Toronto calls, I'll get into shape. Give me 4.
They gave me 4 weeks. The vet, you know.
Yeah, even if it's the Marlies, man. Yeah, if you're watching, if the Marlies are watching right now, I'll get
enough people. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, but I've just watched the game change like tenfold, where it was very veteran heavy. It was very old school when I came in, and I watched it slowly dissipate, but kind of transition into, like I said off camera before, the young guys are the engine of the team now.
Yeah.
It's not as much of a veteran thing. Well, we used to run the locker room, like what we said when, and now it's the young guy's not happy. We got to cater to him. You know, if our star young 20-year-old center is isn't happy about something, we're going to do what he wants to do which is crazy, but it's the way that the game's gone. It's taken a bit of a turn, and I don't love it, but it is what it is. You have to adapt. You adapt or you don't play anymore, you know?
It's crazy in the sense that I think that veteran presence, to your point earlier, is so important for those young guys to learn from the vets. Going out for dinner, like, that's part of the routine. That's part of what you do, and you're learning from those guys. Because going for dinner, even if you're having beers or not, doesn't matter. It's learning, it's having those conversations, being like, man, so I realize that now when I'm taking this draw, if I turn my wrist slightly more this direction, I'm going to end up actually winning more face-offs. Like, little shit like that you don't actually talk about on your day-to-day when you're on the ice, when you're in the training room lifting. Like, those are the kind of things that a veteran, and it's the same in business, like having a mentor, right? It's the exact same thing. Having someone that's older than you, that has gone through something for 10, 15 years, provides so much value to you that's what's important, right? And that's what a lot of it, I think, is being overlooked right now.
Yeah, it's incalculable, the lessons, anything you can learn. And I used to be really inquisitive. Like, I used to ask. I'd be asking questions all the time. I just told you about asking Robs.
Yeah.
I'd be asking older guys. So I'm that guy now, so I don't want to say old guys. But I'd be asking guys questions all the time. You're exactly right. I'd say, like, we didn't talk a ton of hockey when we were away from the rink, but it didn't matter if it was at the rink. I'd be asking, when I'm on the wall, what do you do here? I'd be asking goalies. I say, hey, when I come down, when I have my blade like this, what are you seeing? And a goalie would tell me, okay, well, I know you're going to shoot short side. I can see it on the tip of your blade. I know you're going short side. You do that every time. So I'd be like, okay, shit, I got to change this up, right? Yeah. I didn't get a lot of those opportunities in the game. I'm not coming down on 2-on-1s in the game sniping at short side, but I'd be asking, like, tougher other guys that fought. I remember playing with Eric Goddard, and I'd be like, hey, you're fighting a lefty. How do you like to go in? Like how do you like to approach that? And he'd be like, like, this is my kind of thing. And I sat beside Gods in the room, actually, and I remember asking him. I'd be like, hey, who's the toughest guy you ever fought? Like, tell me about it. Like, tell me about your scrap. It was Colton Orr, by the way. He said that he was the toughest human being ever. Huh. But I used to just love hearing these stories, and I remember my first year, I would ask these guys, I'd be, hey, can I come for dinner with you guys? I remember learning how to play crib online. We didn't even have freaking YouTube. I don't know how I learned it. I think I read it in a freaking book, like how to play, like literally a book called How to Play Cribbage, because the older guys in the back were always looking for guys to play crib.
Yeah.
So I just learned how to play.
Back of the plane?
This is back of the bus.
On the bus.
In the minors, we don't plane anywhere. Well, actually, we do, but we fly Southwest, and you don't want to fly Southwest. Shout out Southwest.
This is not an ad for Southwest.
This is not. Shout out Southwest, but this is not an ad for Southwest. I literally did like a book on freaking how to play cribbage, just so the one day when they're like, hey, we need a guy to play crib. Does anyone know how? I'm like, I can play it. I know how to play it. They're like, all right, come back. And then once I played, I had like the free pass to the back of the bus. I just wanted to be one of the boys,
That's amazing, dude. So cool. This has been awesome. So who's the person who was your best fight? Who was the most intimidating?
The toughest?
Yeah, the toughest fight.
Toughest or most intimidating?
Let's go.
Actually, they're probably the same thing.
Yeah, I would assume.
For me, it was Brian McGrath every time. I'll say it every time.
Yeah.
And just like the height of it too, like Battle of Alberta. He's a guy that I watched fight freaking Ty Domi when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And towards the end of Ty's career, he beat up Ty pretty good a couple times. And now it's Saturday night, Hockey Night in Canada, Battle of Alberta, and I'm squaring off at center ice with Brian McGrath. And that was the one my brother told me after the game. He was in Calgary, and he said, man, I was cringing. I had to look away. He said I couldn't watch. And Big Ern does this thing where most guys have their hands up like this. Big Ern takes Big Ern takes his freaking hands like this, and he looks at you like this.
Yeah.
And he goes like that, and he just looks at, just for a couple seconds, and I'm standing there, I'm like, I think, I'm like, can I not do that?
Can I retract my statement?
I'm good, actually. Sorry for asking, I'm good. Like,
Never mind, let's just roll the camera back.
yeah, so I just remember being like lined up against him, and we actually had a really, really good scrap, and he gave me a pat on the head after, and he said, good job, kid, or something like that, good scrap, kid, or something like that. But that was the time where I literally, like, I shit myself. Like, I was grabbed by a human being that I didn't know could be that strong. Like, he literally grabbed onto me, and I'm like, oh man, I better not make a mistake.
Yeah.
Which is what you shouldn't think when you're fighting one of the toughest humans, but.
He said in that Ice Guardians movie, he's like, I get excited to fight. He's he gets pleasure from fighting guys.
See, I told you before that I lived in a constant state of nerve and
he's the reason.
Terror. It was for guys like this, and to know that a guy is literally saying that he enjoys getting punched in the face. I'm like, so what am I going to do to this guy then? I'm making him happy. I'm
the puppet.
I'm giving him what he wants. Like,
he said in there, he's like, sometimes I let the guy hit me first. I'm like,
I know.
Oh, that's a different breed of a human being right there. He's like, yeah, just give me one off the chin here. Give me a quick one first, just to get me fired up.
And I was the guy that as soon as I got hit, I was like, oh shit, here we go.
So have you heard of Andrew Peters, Sabres?
Oh
yeah. So he, I met him at the Canoe Club as well. But I'm gonna have him. We're gonna do a walk through St. Catharines, similar to how we did this in Toronto. But he said he had met you, or he knew about you, and he had said if you guys had ever crossed paths, you would have had to fight, but you never did. That's just kind of accepted in your guys' roles, right?
And I hated it being like, I don't want to say staged like that where you're like, shit, I know I'm gonna have to fight this guy. But there were guys like that I would play against that I knew were gonna be literally running around the rink, doing whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
Taking liberties on guys, and it was my job to make that not happen. And if it did, to make that person go away, you know, like to settle that person down. And some games, I'd be praying a guy like Andrew Peters and, you know, a guy like Big Ern, I'd see him go in for a check or something like that. I'd be like, don't finish that. And then he'd just flatten some of that. I'd be like, oh boy, here we go. All right, let's go.
Buckle up, baby.
Time. All right,
here we go.
And I would never get the tap from coach. I would never, that was one thing I prided myself in, was I never got the tap from coach. I would never have to get the, you know, hey, you're up. But like,
you knew.
Yeah, I just knew. Yeah. Like a lot of guys couldn't figure. I think that's why I played for such a long time.
That's crazy.
Did my role for such a long time. I actually got really upset when coaches would do that to me. I had a coach do that to me in the minors a couple years ago, and I literally told him to never do that again. I said, don't ever. I didn't want to make it myself sound like an asshole, but I was like, I know the time and the place. I've done this for a long time. If you really, really, really disagree with something, then we can have a conversation, but I don't ever want to get this one on the back and say, hey,
get out there.
It's your turn.
Yeah. Well, and having done it for so long, you know the feeling in the arena. You can tell.
You can sense the vibe, everything. And I used to love to scrap too. If the boys were just dead, if the building was just dead.
It's that energy you said you'd feed off it.
I'd go start running around, and I wouldn't look for it, but I would be finishing guys. I'd skate by their bench with a big smile on my face, and I know there would be a couple guys getting fired up there, so
should be sponsored by OB, eh?
I'm missing freaking 3. I need some teeth done.
I feel like they'll fix that.
So no, he's waving the person behind me.
Oh, I thought he was waving at us. Sure, I was thinking we were popular. He's just enjoying it. There you go.
Shit. That was so funny. He thought he was waving to him, but the girl was behind him. I used to love getting the building fired up and getting the boys fired up. The best part was always for me, your teammates, like skating like from the bench to the box, or fighting with less than 5 in a period, and you get back in the dressing room and the boys are like, fucking right, guys, like that's unreal. And then your coach comes in and he says, hey, good job, guys, you know. I used to love that. I didn't need a lot of appraisal. I didn't need a lot of, hip hip hooray from me, but it was always nice to get a little pat on the back and say, hey, thanks for putting your face and your body on the line for.
And kind of how I want to end this episode is the way last time we chatted, you got pretty choked up about how rewarding your role was playing in the NHL and, you know, basically putting your body on the line. So I want to bring to light what that means to you, because people don't necessarily understand and realize how important that is to recognize and feel.
Yeah, you know, man, it was a very humbling job I did. It was it's said that it's a hard way to make an easy living, they say, as a tough guy. It's terror and it's, you know, a lot of nerves and anxiety, but I mean, look at me now. I'm loving it. Right?
You're enjoying beers on a patio.
I'm enjoying it. The best part for me, like we talked about, was the guys, and you know, having ex-teammates call you and say, hey, you know, I'm in town. Do you want to go out? Do you want to grab a bite? Like, how you doing? Like, what's going on? I always did it. I never did it for coaches and management. I never did it for, you know, you could say I did it for the fans a little bit, but at the end of the day, I did it for the guys, you know, the other 23, 22 guys that I was playing with, night in, night out. And that was the best part of it for me, was the friendships I made. And it's wedding season now. I know we're in COVID, but I get all these wedding invites from former teammates that, you know, want me to come and something as small as a wedding. I know it's not a small thing, but something as small as a wedding. You know, getting invited to join in a celebration with someone, and it's incredibly humbling, man. It really is.
It's amazing. Well, I'm glad we're able to share your story and share kind of where you grew up. Man, this is amazing. It's cool.
Great.
I appreciate it.
Anytime. We'll do a part 2. We'll go to
we're gonna go play some golf. We're gonna go to the house, see the stick collection, and
stay tuned.
And hopefully I can beat you in golf, because hopefully I can get off the tee.
Yeah, I'll beat you off the tee. You might beat the total though.
All right, we'll figure it out. I look forward to it. More beers.